Hi, everyone. This is Jeff Clark of the new Pater podcast, and I have an exciting treat for you today. A company that I've been affiliated with for some time now that I'm excited to bring to you. We have a lot to go over today, some fun stories, maybe a discount in there, some rapid fire Q&A. So we think this will be a very informative session. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the CEO of Strategic Wealth Preservation in Grand Cayman, Mark Yaxley. Mark, thanks for joining me.
Hey, Jeff, a pleasure to be here with you.
Great. Well, I want to start off with the story, Mark, of how SWP got started, but I want to tell my story first and then you can add in later. And that is, you wrote to me about, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years ago and asked Jeff, if you were starting a bullion storage facility offshore, what would you want to see in that? And if you remember, I gave you, oh, geez, this whole laundry list of things that I would like to see in my ideal, offshore storage, bullion facility. And lo and behold, soon after that, SWP actually incorporated every single one of my recommendations. And I was so impressed with that, I became a client immediately, and I hold box number one at SWP. So, Mark, tell us the brief story of how SWP got started.
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. And I do remember your list. I remember at the time thinking to myself, man, this guy has a lot of requirements. Keeping in mind at the time we were new to the business, essentially. So what seemed like an overwhelming challenge ended up being a great roadmap. Taking all of those requirements that you would expect from clients who are storing their gold and silver with you offshore. And yeah, like you said, we were actually able to implement all of those things, if not immediately within the first year of opening our doors. And they've served us very well. So thank you for that. Thank you for
Yeah.
challenging us. As Cayman has been a financial center for many, many years in terms of banking, hedge funds. You also have a pretty strong legal community, international law community there. And those were all things that Cayman was really well known for and really was doing quite well by the time that we came up with the idea of adding a gold and silver trading desk and storage facility. And that's something that Cayman didn't have. And so my
Uh,
partners back in 2012, the idea had been presented to them that, hey, this would be a great add-on for Cayman to have to kind of round out the financial services that it was already offering. And they started doing their due diligence. They went to vaults in Miami, they went to vaults in Panama, they went to vaults in New York City.
mm.
And they put together this initial plan, and then they invited me to participate in early 2014, probably about the same time I got in touch with you. And that's when we laid the groundwork for SWP, Strategic Wealth Preservation, and we opened our doors officially. You being our first client in 2015, so we're coming up on year number 10 very soon.
Yes, and in that time frame, you already had to build a bigger vault. Mark, this is incredible. Business was doing so well, and I've been inside that old vault. I remember trying to open that door, how big and thick and heavy it was, but you already had to build a bigger vault. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was new to Cayman. We were a brand new brand in the industry with a new jurisdiction that we were presenting to the precious metals community. And of course, like any new business, the first few years were relatively slow. You're building up your reputation, you're onboarding new clients. But I mean, really the difference maker, Jeff, was probably COVID. When COVID,
Mm,
ran rampant and the financial world was upended and governments started behaving in ways that was, created a
yeah.
lot of volatility and uncertainty in the market. A lot of people ran towards gold and silver at that time. So really, we were already getting quite busy before then, and that just accelerated things. And by about late 2021, early 2022, we looked at our old vault and we said, guys, we're not going to last another 12 months in this place. So we went out and we bought a new piece of land, about an acre, just over an acre in Grand Cayman. And we started designing and swiftly built a brand new facility that holds 3 times as much precious metals as the old facility. And we have a lot of room to grow on that land as well if we want to, add additional workspace for staff, or if we want to add even more storage in the future. we're well prepared to do that. So yeah, basically out of necessity, thank you, COVID, I guess you could say, for making us jump on that and build the new facility.
Yeah, that's great. And I am going to tour that facility very soon. I'm going to get down there here the next few months, hopefully. So, Mark, one thing I want to get across in this video that's critical, I think, for people to understand is we have geopolitical risk all around the world, it seems like these days, and it hasn't subsided. It seems like it's getting worse. Political risk itself has gotten worse. So some people have a relationship with a bullion dealer in the States or in Canada, and that bullion dealer may offer storage at another offshore location, Singapore to whatever. But the thing I want to get across is that that is not actually true offshore storage. That SWP actually offers true offshore storage. And what I mean by that is this. Um, when you open an account at a bullion dealer, that is where your account is housed. It is a US based account, it is a Canadian account, or whatever. When you open an account at SWP, it is not a US based account, it is not a Canadian account. So when you have an account there, uh, you actually have true offshore storage and not pseudo offshore storage. I don't want to offend any of my other friends out there in the industry, but it's a critical point that if the fertilizer hits the fan, you maybe want to have offshore storage that is not denominated in a U.S. Based account or a Canadian account or whatever the case might be. So, Mark, talk about that and talk about that difference that SWP offers someone who wants true offshore bullion storage.
Right. And it's a really valid and very important point, Jeff. And I guess, you could say one of the biggest differentiators for SWP is the fact that our head office and our flagship vault is owned and located in the Cayman Islands with no financial ties and no physical ties to the United States or to Canada or any other jurisdiction. So everything is headquartered in Cayman, which means when our clients transact with us, when they send us information, where information is stored, but most importantly, really when they transact, where is that transaction taking place? It's taking place and it's completed through the Cayman Islands head office. All of the sales staff are located there. All of the marketing people are located there. So all the selling and soliciting, which is really what the tax man is after, the selling and soliciting is taking place offshore, not to
Right.
mention the physical storage in the Cayman Islands vault. So yes, we are a true offshore company. And therefore, and what's really important, what this all boils down to essentially is that as a precious metals dealer located in the Cayman Islands, we don't have any tax reporting or reporting of personal information to any foreign tax authority or government. And that's really what you would probably be looking for as a difference maker when, comparing SWP to other US based or Canadian based or even Swiss based storage companies.
Yes, absolutely. And just to be clear, everyone, we're not saying you don't pay tax on any gains. You do have to pay tax on gains. You're self-reporting it, though. The point here is that it gives you a layer of political, protection that you may not otherwise have if your account is based in U.S. dollars, Canadian dollars, whatever the case might be. So. Okay, Mark, it's time for some rapid fire questions. So just 20, 30 seconds answers each. You ready?
Go
First,
for it.
can I ship my metal to you in the Grand Caymans?
Yes, you can, Jeff. You can ship it to us in Grand Cayman or any of the storage facilities we offer worldwide. We have a dedicated logistics team that takes care of all of the paperwork, including your FedEx labels, your commercial invoice, all of the importation documents, some of that tricky stuff you probably don't want to mess with.
Gotcha. And Mark, I read recently that the tariff on gold and silver, this was great news, by the way,
Mhm.
was recently lifted in Grand Cayman. Real quick, tell us about that.
Yeah, the Cayman Islands government did impose a tariff only on gold back in late 2022. This is off the heels of our success during COVID that I mentioned earlier. We brought in a lot
Uh,
of gold. The government said, wow, this is a way to make more money. And we challenged it. It took us 18 months. The tariff, basically what they did is they reclassified bullion products just like a few weeks ago. So gold bullion, both coins and bars, is no longer, I'm very happy to say, subject to the 4% tariff. We can now import it into Cayman tariff-free again, which is fantastic news.
That's great. Yes, it is. And that just means basically that I can buy gold directly from you and have it stored there without paying a tariff.
That's correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, Mark, what does it cost to store gold and silver at SWP in Grand Cayman?
Sure. Yeah. So it depends how much volume of gold or silver you're storing with us, Jeff. Our storage rates for gold range between 0.4% to 0.7% of the average value of your holdings per year. So that's 40 basis points to 70 basis points per year. And silver is between 65 to 95 basis points, or 0.65 to 0.95% of the average value of your silver. So again, depends on the volume that you're storing with us, but less than 1% all in. That includes your storage and your insurance.
That's great. And for those who don't know, those are very competitive rates that are out there in the industry. So, and last, Mark, real quick, I understand that you can store crypto assets for investors too.
We do cold storage, yep. So basically the storage that we're offering for people is that we can store their devices, whether that be for crypto, whether it be for important documents. We do offer cold storage inside of our Class 3 UL rated vaults, which is the exact same vaults that we use for gold and silver. And what our clients receive is a Pelican case, which if you've ever seen one, they're like this military grade indestructible suitcase, essentially. Inside of that, you have a waterproof, tamper evident, and fire retardant bags that house whatever device you're storing. And the cases themselves are actually airtight. So there's really nothing that should penetrate them. And those are stored inside of the same vaults, like I said.
Gotcha. And Mark, can I pay for some of my gold and silver purchases with any crypto assets I have purchased with you, or does that get a little too complicated?
No, actually, it's really easy. So we've been accepting cryptocurrency as payment for orders. We don't sell crypto, just to clarify. We're not a broker. We don't sell the cryptocurrency. But if you own Bitcoin and you say, hey, I want to buy gold from SWP and pay you guys in Bitcoin, we do accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDC, USDT, and some of the other better known cryptocurrencies as payment. As well, if somewhere down the road, Jeff, you want to sell your gold to us and be paid in a cryptocurrency, we can also facilitate that. So we'll buy your gold back and we'll settle to you, for example, in Bitcoin. So you can kind of come in and out of both markets if you'd like to do it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Very good. Mark, we talked a little about political risk. So if my account is outside of the US in my case, for example, but what kind of political risk do I have in the Grand Caymans? Talk about any political risk, and I think I know the answer, that might exist in Grand Cayman.
So it's important for people to know Grand Cayman's a British overseas territory. So it is not a completely sovereign country in that sense. There is some oversight from an appointed governor. There's a governor that actually sits in Cayman on behalf of the government of the United Kingdom, which I think is a good thing, because what we've seen in other Caribbean islands or other Caribbean jurisdictions is sometimes a sovereign government there can kind of run amok. They tend to get in a lot of debt. They might make decisions which are punitive to the financial community, financial services community, like we've seen in the Bahamas. We've seen a little bit of that. We've seen a little bit of the same in Bermuda, where their financial industries have taken a little bit of a hit based on government decisions. So Cayman has that oversight from the UK, which I think adds stability, but they do have their own elected government as well. So those are elected representatives by the local population. And I would say, as a general rule, the reason Cayman has been so successful over the last 50 years with regards to financial services is that they clearly understand that that's their lifeblood. That is
Yeah,
that
right.
is the bread that sorry, the butter that's spread across their bread. I mean, it's
Yeah.
how they make their living. It's how they send their kids to good schools. It's really, it creates a higher standard of living because it's a well-governed place, and because they support the financial services community instead of making it more difficult or over-regulating or some of the other things that governments tend to do. So I would say in general, the political risk in Cayman is quite low, and that's one of the reasons why the jurisdiction has been so successful in the financial services community.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Now, for anyone who hasn't been to Grand Cayman, I've called it my home away from home, and it really is. One reason is because they have some of the most beautiful beaches in the world there, consistently rated top 10 beaches around the world. Um, so, Mark, you might actually have a chance for people to visit. You might have a client appreciation event coming up. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, Jeff, and you know this, we always welcome our clients to come visit us. So that's one of the things that's kind of nice about doing business with us. You're allowed to come to the vault. You do have to make an appointment. You schedule your appointment, you come to the vault. We can put your metals out into the client viewing area. You can spend literally as much time as you want, with your metals and talking to your account representative. We think that's pretty important that people understand where their metal is and they can actually view it.
Yeah,
But
that's important. Let me just interrupt you. I've
sure.
actually done that, everyone. I've actually went to the island, made an appointment, and got to visit my metals there. So I know that this can be done. So sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you, Mark.
no, it's fine. It's a nice experience, right? You tie that in with family vacation, spend a couple of days
Yeah.
on the beach, visit the turtle farm, swim with the stingrays. There's all kinds of cool environmentally related things to do. But to your point, yeah, we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. We are looking at doing a small conference slash client appreciation event in 2025 to mark the occasion, of which you will most definitely be invited to be a keynote speaker at the event. But if you can't make it to Grand Cayman, another way you can connect with us as a client is we do host these semi-annual Golden Turtle Social Club events, which are basically online events. They're free, and we get people like yourself. We had Doug Casey do the last one as a keynote speaker, and basically he answers questions from the audience for like an hour. So it's really interactive and a nice way for people to get to meet people like yourself.
That's great. Yeah, look forward to that, definitely. So, and ladies and gentlemen, a big announcement. We are just starting to take advertising on the Gold Advisor website. Now, but before you question that, I just want you to know that the reason we're doing that is because the Gold Advisor, Paid Prospector, Silver Stock Investor, all those are paid publications and they're all almost strictly about mining stocks. And that's where we think we're going to make lots of our big profit and big gains over the next few years. But there are products and services that we all buy, that we use, conferences we attend, that we want people to know about. And we were getting requests from people, from organizers asking, "Hey, can we advertise on your site? We want to get the word out about, our bullion storage facility, our upcoming conference, whatever the case might be." So that's why we're doing it. It's not expensive. It's just a way to get some agencies and some companies on the site of things that we personally use. So just like a stock, we would not recommend that we don't ourselves own. These are strictly going to be products and services that we ourselves use. Today being an obviously good example. I've been a customer at SWP for a long time. But Mark, I'm glad to welcome SWP as our first official advertiser on the Gold Advisor website.
Yeah, it's funny. We've come full circle, Jeff. You were our first client almost 10 years ago. We're now your first paid advertiser on the site. So very cool. Thank you for having us. And wishing you obviously all the best. You've done a great job growing the service so far. It's fun to watch it, from a distance here in
Yeah.
Grand Cayman. And you're always welcome to come pay us a visit when you need a break from California.
Yeah. Yes, I will definitely take you up on that. And last, ladies and gentlemen, Mark and SWP have a bullion promo going on right now that you can take advantage of. We're recording here in what, mid August. Mark, tell us about the bullion promo and how long it's good for, you think?
Yeah, so yeah, I mentioned this to you before we started recording, Jeff. We are going to be kicking off a promotion. We tend to have product promotions running on a regular basis, but this one kind of stands out. It's going to start on October 1st. So if you open your account before then, great. The promo will start on October 1st. Basically, anyone who buys for $25,000 worth of gold to be stored in Grand Cayman, in celebration of the tariff no longer being in place, will be entered to win a trip for two to the Cayman Islands. That's airfare, lodging, food, and of course, an exclusive visit to the Cayman Islands vault. So that's going to run October 1st through December 31st, and you will be receiving the details, Jeff, so you can get it out to everybody, and hopefully your followers benefit from it. It's a great chance to win a pretty cool trip, once in a lifetime trip.
Yeah, that's great. I can't wait to see more details about that. And for those of you that are watching, we'll have a link down below to the website that you can use. If you're interested, if you have questions, reach out. Mark can certainly answer those. I can probably answer many as well. But there'll be lots of information about SWP below here in the link. So, uh, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, please hit like for us and subscribe. It does help our numbers out and help us bring higher quality videos to you like this one. So, Mark, any closing remarks? Anything else you want a potential investor to know who might be interested in offshore storage?
There's one last thing I wanted to mention, Jeff, actually, is, and I'll keep it really short. SWP Capital, one of the knocks on gold and silver and long-term storage is it doesn't pay interest, it doesn't pay you dividends. You have to pay a small storage fee to keep it in a secure storage facility. So we launched SWP Capital, which allows our clients who are storing with us in Grand Cayman to borrow cash against their gold. Up to 75% of the value of the metal that they store with us can be borrowed, and then they can use that money, that loan, for whatever they like. We offer up to 12-month terms, but they can be renewed, so it can be a longer period of time, and you can buy real estate. A lot of our clients buy real estate, cryptocurrency, more metal. Even we see a lot of clients doing
Yeah.
that with the recent price appreciation.
Oh,
So
interesting. Yeah.
SWP Capital, it's a sister company of ours that you can benefit from as well.
They really are a one-stop shop, ladies and gentlemen. I like them a lot, obviously, because I'm using them. So I hope you check them out. Mark, thanks for joining me on this video, and I will see you in Grand Cayman very soon.
Always a pleasure, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.